Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well as I always do. Bear me 2 seconds, guys. Apologies for that. This is for some random reason it didn't select the microphone, even though it's exactly the same setup as it was last night. As always, guys, this is the weekly episode of the live chat of episode 42 of the weekly live chat, I should say. As always, guys, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the England section of their website, where you can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys, as you can see from the icon that's up here. There even. There's any purchase you guys make through the link in the description, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly onto Iron Supporting Food Banks, the charity within the Newham area that I've been asking you guys to make donations to since December. For those in the Newham area that are struggling and really need all the help they can get. So guys, look after yourselves yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But as always, TSC, welcome. Hope you're keeping all right, mate. No, there aren't any news on the 21-22 kits yet. It is a bit unusual for now, but it's weird circumstances. I don't know why they're not doing the kits at the minute. I really don't. But it'd be nice to try and get some information out about it. But by now, but we've still got 2 months and what was it? It's not even that now. What was it 6 weeks, 7 weeks before the season starts? Not even that. Was it early August? So yeah, about 6 weeks. So the information that I've been able to gather over different various sources, it looks like there's only going to be one kit released early, which is probably obviously going to be the home kit, and then the away and the third kit will be released at probably a couple of weeks after that. Like sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Hi Rick, hope you're doing all right, mate. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. But the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is let's get the topics back up. Where are we? Bum, bum, bum. Government could U-turn on demonstration bill. Basically, if you aren't already aware of this, it was discussed a little while ago that not allowing. Good evening, Robert. Hope you're right, mate. Not allowing people to demonstrate is, and I quote from the most unlikeliest of sources, Harriet Harman, saying that they want that noisy demonstrations are literally the sound of democracy. That's her quote. MPs are trying to turn this over. Hang on 2 seconds, guys. It was working perfectly fine, and all of a sudden the microphone's gone mental. So give me 2. Guys, can you hear me okay? Yeah, it all seemed to be fine. So yeah, apologies, guys. As I said, it was working perfectly fine. All I did was press the button. Hello, Kent Hammers, mate. Hope you're keeping all right. All I did was literally that. But yeah, so let's try and start that up again. So yeah, yeah, the government was a senior Labour MP has warned that noisy demonstrations are literally the sound of democracy amid concerns over the government's controversial new bill. MPs and peers have said that restrictions on protests in in the controversial Police Crime and Sentencing and Courts Bill, which has sparked widespread protest, breached human rights laws, and will increase the risk of peaceful demonstrators being arrested. Now, to be honest with you, I'm in mixed. I want to get your opinions on this, of course, guys. But I say apologies for the things that the stream not being running properly. It's out of my control. It's this program. Everything's working fine. But anyway, this basically prohibits you and I from speaking our minds about everything. It prohibits us doing protests about things. It's basically trying to be a nanny state, quite frankly. It really is trying to stop us having an opinion, and you know, if and I'm glad that this is not going to go through by the looks of things, because at the end of the day, guys, as I said, it's stopping us having an opinion on things. If people are going to be arrested for demonstrating peacefully, like we saw outside the London Stadium over the weekend, for those idiots having a go about the spreading false information about the jab. You know, one. You know, we all saw that over Twitter with that clip that was put up, especially with that bloke saying Christian Eriksen took the jab and 2 weeks later he collapsed on the football pitch. How dare that twat make an example of somebody who had heart condition, an unknown heart condition at the time? How dare he link that to being about being about, you know, how bad the jab is. It's perfectly natural for somebody to have a knee-jerk reaction of something they don't know anything about. But as you guys know on a regular basis, I do say, do your research. Do your research. Actually find out what's in there. And don't just come half-cocked with all the stuff. You know, it wasn't spread by aliens. It doesn't have a tagging system in it. Yes, there are proteins in it, but that's the whole point. There's minute proteins which trigger off your antibody system. Okay, so there's no free speech and utter control. Exactly, and that's the point. And coming on to that as which, because there's 8 people watching and only 1 person talking about it at the moment. Okay, so coming on to the next topic. Hopefully the audio will be all right on this. Where are we? All right, so let me just double check that hasn't screwed the audio up again. Yeah, it all seems to be perfectly fine. Let me just double check something on here, just to make sure. What? There you go. Yeah, it's working all perfectly fine. TSC says that fucking old prick outside the London Stadium with a pound shop megaphone yelling Eriksen clap because the vaccine is disgusting. It is, mate, 100%. It is completely. Now, which I was mentioning on there. British holidaymakers could be able to avoid quarantine upon return from the amber list countries if they have been fully vaccinated, according to new government plans. A government spokesperson confirmed that work had begun to consider the role of vaccinations for inbound travel following the ongoing success of the COVID vaccine rollout, according to the Standard. If implemented, this could see thousands of Britons resume trips to popular destinations such as Greece, France, Spain, Italy and Portugal. We'll go through those in a minute, which was recently added to the amber green list, having been on the green. Currently, arrivals from these amber list countries must quarantine for 10 days, while arrivals from limited green countries are not required to. So basically, in a nutshell, it says that as set out in the Global Travel Task Force, we are working with the industry for a safe return to international travel, guided by one overwhelming priority: public health. Decisions that, to be honest, that decision should have been taken 18 months ago and done completely differently, but we've gone over that many times. Decisions on our traffic light system are kept under constant review and are based on a range of health factors, recognising the strong strategic rationale and success of the vaccine programme, we have commenced work to consider the role of vaccinations in shaping a different set of health and testing measures for inbound travel. Blah 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 blah. So basically, in a nutshell, to put it rightly, there's a very good chance that you'll be able to travel, okay, there and back to the UK and any other country that deems in relation to it, because we still can't travel to the US, for example. So cheers, guys, by the way, good health. We have a view on Facebook, which is good. Let me know your thoughts on that. But yeah, so at the end of the day, guys, this is a step in the right direction, and I said it in January when there was talk about the COVID passports. This is the only one that makes sense. It's the only one that makes sense, where you can literally you can use it as a passport. Say, look, I'm being fully vaccinated and travel to a degree wherever you want. To a degree wherever you want, and so if you show the little card or you bring up the NHS app to show that you've had your 2 vaccinations, there's a very good chance that you won't have to quarantine, especially coming back to the UK. You may, depending on the country and the restrictions of the country, you may still have to quarantine, but you won't have to quarantine coming back. I think it's a really good idea, and there's 10 people at the minute. The count's gonna update in a minute. There's 11 people in general. Nobody talking. Come on, guys, give me your thoughts on this. Literally one just buggered off just as I said it. But give me your thoughts on this. Rick says, I do think it's a good idea from the government. It's not going to please everybody, of course. It's not going to please everybody. But it will be nice. It will be nice to have something in place. So I'm not to say that, right, if you don't have your double jabs, you can't travel. That's kind of the implication behind it anyway. It will to a degree lead to some form of what's the word? Not segregation exactly, but it does kind of hint towards kind of that, you know, that you're better off and you are better off having the vaccine at the end of the day. Bearing in mind there was 16,000 new cases reported within the last 24 hours of the new Delta variant, or as you know, I won't refer to it what everybody else refers to it as, but you know what the variant I'm talking about. Again, we've discussed that on many occasions, but you know, it's within the public health interest to get the vaccine. Whether you agree with it or not is another matter. If you get it, fan dabby dozy. I know that Kent's had his. I don't know, Kent, if you had your double now. I'm guessing you would have done, given the time. I'm gonna have my double one, just my second one, just before the season starts, which is very good timing. So that could put me in good stead for Newcastle away if I'm able to get a ticket. But it could be very entertaining on this, in terms of entertaining in terms of just keeping the public updated, and of course, you know, I know we're going to lose a lot of viewers because there's the Euros going on at the minute, but come on, guys, I know you're there. I can physically see that you're there. Come on, give us your thoughts. Cancer. Some people in certain areas, it's only up to 50% vaccine take up. Kent's double jabs. I'll be happy to show my card or app to even gain entry to public events. Exactly. That's kind of the point with it, which is one of the reasons why the London Stadium was rented out over the weekend, to do that. Now it's interesting that was excuse me. It's interesting that was being put in the newspapers as West Ham's London Stadium. It's not. It's a government building. It's owned by the council. It's a government building. They had no choice but to have that open because it's government property. They had to do it. But you're absolutely right, Ken. Only 50% take up in certain areas. That's because people are believing more the truth than so are believing what they see on Facebook and Twitter than what is actually being reported. Now, we know everything's been exaggerated on it, but at the same point, you know, and this is the reason why. It says, Tommy says we live in a council house. You know what I mean. Come on, don't be pedantic, mate. Good evening, Tommy. Hope you're all right, mate. But to go over to this, The current green list, as it stands at the moment, is Israel, Gibraltar, Ireland, the Faroe Islands. Actually, let me just bring that up, just because some people won't realise. So yeah. So the green country list is Israel, Gibraltar, Iceland, Faroe Islands, Brunei, Falkland Islands, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, St Helena, Ascension Island, and Tristan da Cunha, I think you pronounce that, South Georgia, and the South Sandwich Islands. Gary says, "Good evening, mate. I'm all ready for his holidays." And also countries that are currently on the amber list that could be going to the green list, which because apparently there's up to 21 could happen within the next couple of days. So keep an eye out for that. But the most likely is the Canary Islands, such as Tenerife, Fuerteventura, and Gran Canaria, which they sorted that out 18 months ago, because that's where I would have been last May. Not May just gone, the May last year. That's where I was planning to go for my 40th. The Balearics. So that's Mallorca, Menorca, Ibiza, and Formentera. Germany, which still could be going onto the green list. The USA could go onto the green list. Italy, Jamaica, Finland, Mexico, and Poland are all in line to potentially be added to the green list. So again, guys, keep an eye on that. Ken says, "John, are we allowed to go to Australia or New Zealand?" They are, as I said, they are on the green list, but you'll have to look into it a bit further than this, because it's a green list from us travelling, but you may have to do things. That's why I said earlier about it's green coming back and green going out, but their import laws will be totally different. Gary says, "I can't see why now they've offered all the bats. They just..." Sorry, Gary, you have to repeat that, mate. I don't get what you're saying there. "I can't see why now they have offered all a bats. They can't just say if you don't want your choice, everyone else can't." Okay, so he's corrected it. "So I can't see why now they have offered it to all adults. They can't just say now if you don't want it, your choice, everyone else go back to normal." And that still doesn't make sense, mate. Nothing's come up like that in any shape or form. So again, you have to give us context on that one, mate, because I don't understand where you're going with that. It's not like there isn't that choice at the moment. These are places, and this is why it all ties in together. There's very possibilities that you can have to. There's a lot more research that has to be done on this, and this only dropped yesterday, so I was only able to look at it from a very snapshot point of view. But there are, we are slow. But the point of this is the fact that we are getting our lives back very slowly, and I did say that would happen when we started doing the daily live chats before they de-evolved, I should say, into the weekly live chats. We are slowly going to be getting our lives back, and we are. This is proof of it. Just because we have one person's vaccinated and one person isn't, all it means is you have to isolate for 10 days when you return, or isolate over there for 10 days. That's the thing. That's the only difference. It's the jab or sitting in a hotel for 2 weeks either side. Not being able to interact in the way that you'd like. And that's why I said I was going to wait for me to be fully vaccinated before I do any plans, because the last thing I want to be worrying about is sitting in a hotel, especially on my 40th birthday week, sitting in a hotel out on the pool, worrying all the time. Am I going to get it from somebody else? I mean, you always can. There's always a good risk that you're going to get it from somebody anyway, but it's no bigger than anything else. But I've never ever had the flu vaccine at all. But with COVID, it was slightly different because this is a brand new variant. Over the last 100 years, we've been able to develop vaccines and other supplements that will help cure people from the flu. This has only been around not 18 months. Well, 20 months technically, because obviously the first few cases were reported in October, November time in 2019 before it hit the UK in the early 2020. Gary says a government job is to protect life. They have now offered all adults in the country a vaccine. They have done their job. Time to move on. It is, exactly, and that's the point. Is the fact that even Boris Johnson said on Monday is that the fact we will have to come to live with it at some point, and we talked about it about 6 months ago. Like Tommy says, Ireland is definitely very green. Yes, it is, completely. But yes, that's the thing. That's the thing with it. Okay, so so that's the non-football side of things. And of course, thank you to everybody that joined with the weekly watch along last night for the Czech Republic England game. Let's now. I want to get your thoughts on both games, Scotland and the Czech Republic game last night. Not to sound like a naysayer in any shape or form, but we've had 3 very, very bad performances. Don't get me wrong. If you'd have said at the start of the tournament we would win the group, being unbeaten, we all would have taken that. We all us English supporters would have taken that. Absolutely would have taken that. To have only scored 2 goals in those 3 games, to show the lack of fight that we've seen a lot. The qualifying rounds aren't the rounds to do that. England are coming up with a very, very difficult sides to beat on Tuesday night. Anybody within the group of death, as it's come to be affectionately known as, aka Group F, anybody within that side, within that table of people, of teams, I should say, any one of them could currently win it. It is, or be even runners up. It could really be that it's really, really that tight at the minute, which is why obviously we can't talk about it as much. But Kent says for Scotland should have beat us. Should have, not of, but anyway. And last night was average. If we play like that on Tuesday, we're going to get battered. Yeah, absolutely agreed. Rick says England done really well in yesterday's game. Should have, again, have, not of. Should have, because it should have combination between the two. Should have been more goals, but now we are playing some tough teams. Sorry, England. I do think we will be out of the Euros on Tuesday night. It's very possible. Very, very. That's what I'm saying, mate. This is what I'm saying. It's. Tommy says England haven't been great, and you would fear for them against a better team. But tournament football is unpredictable. We've seen teams look great in the group stage, but get knocked out of the next round. Exactly. With the Euros itself, everybody thought that the Euros of 2016. Everybody thought that Portugal were going to get knocked out of the group stage. They were shocking, but they won it. They won the tournament. So Tommy, you're absolutely spot on there, mate. It is completely unpredictable, as is football in general. But as I said, we've had 3 really bad performances, and we've got away with this. We've really, really got away with this. Tuesday night is when the real tournament starts, because it's proper opposition. Croatia weren't all that good. Scotland gave us a battle, and as Kent says, should have beaten us. Czech Republic played well. It was quite funny watching some of the comments saying I love watch. I can't remember who it was yesterday, but said that I love watching Soufal for West Ham, but I don't like watching him tonight, because we got to see the flip side of how he is in an opposition view. So, the Czech Republic played really well. It was lovely, of course, to see the photograph of Soufal, Souček, and Rice together after the game. The crossed hammers photo they did for the website, and conversations and pictures that up with all 3 of them talking after the game. It's very, very good. Gary's asking thoughts on Kane. I would soon see us play 4-4-2. Kane has been unbelievably terrible. He had a decent run last night, but nowhere near as good as he should have been for all three fixtures. Absolutely nowhere near whatsoever. I personally do think he's possibly carrying a knock, or that he's possibly having there's something going on with him. There really, really is. But out of the group of death, who would you prefer us to play? Germany, Portugal, France, or Hungary? Hungary's very, very unlikely. Still could happen, of course. Still could happen. Kent says Kane's mine isn't there. Absolutely. So I realistically, we've got Germany, Portugal, or France that we're going to have in the next round. So Kent says France. Rick says England versus Spain. How's that possible, mate? They're not in the same group. Listen very carefully. Germany, Portugal, France, or Hungary. It's not going to happen in the last 16, mate. It's not happening. They're not in the group. Gary says Portugal. I hate Ronaldo. We owe him one. Absolutely, because if we'd have drawn last night, mate, if we'd have finished runners up last night, then yes, we would have had a choice. We would have been playing against Group E. Yeah, which is basically, I'm guessing, Spain from the way that the draw went last night. So where are we? So yeah, Sweden won the group, and Spain were runners up. So yeah, we would have done. But because we won it, we will be playing Group F. Any teams in Group F? Rick says okay, France then. Tommy says Irish. Germany would be England's best chance of a win. I think current German team isn't that great. They weren't, and they were very, very lucky against Portugal the other night. Very, very lucky. 2-1 goals and mistakes from Portugal that led to the build-up of the 2 very, very good goals that were scored. But you're absolutely right on that one, mate. Absolutely. Wouldn't disagree with you. So for anybody that's watching the replay of this, you're always more than welcome to put your comments in the comment section after this broadcast. Let us know what you're thinking as well. So let us know what you think about the possibility of us still being able to have freedom of speech. What you think about the jab. The list of countries that could be added to the green list. And also the roundup of the England game so far as well. Gary says I don't want France. They have world class all the way through the team. They do, absolutely. I'm kind of leaning towards Tommy, to be honest with you. Germany is the more appealing out of the 3 potentials that we could realistically be playing against. I would prefer Germany. There's a lot more weaknesses in there than the other 3 sides. Hungary would be lovely, of course. It'd be very, very nice. They're not going to get anywhere up the table. I mean, obviously we'll find out later, literally after this broadcast, because that's when the literally the Germany first face Hungary tonight and Portugal France at the same time from 8 o'clock. So we'll obviously try and get this wrapped up from there. Tommy says England's best chance of winning in ascending order. So Germany, Portugal, France. So yeah, so Germany first, Portugal, France, because descending's the other way. So Germany, yeah. Descending order. So Germany's the more realistic, then Portugal, then France. Yeah, honestly. Gary says put 5 past against Germany again. What a game that was. I think you mean was it the 5-2, the Michael Owen standout game? Ken Hammer says got to beat France. At some point, let's just at some point. I think you mean there, mate, rather than and some point. At some point, let's just play them now. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. We've got to get the bigger boys, the bigger boys. We got to get them at some point. So yeah, absolutely right, mate. Completely agree with you. One thing that was also quite nice to see while we're on the subject of the Euros still. Is that it? Yeah. The 1 minute applause for Ericsson. I was about to say Sven-Goran Eriksson then, but for instance, Ericsson on the at the 10th minute of the game after that. I think it was a beautiful thing to happen. Love, really touching. So and great that everybody got involved and nobody disagreed with it. Apart from that fucking idiot who was outside London Stadium on Saturday. Thomas says 5-1 in Munich. Heskey did the famous DJ celebration. Yep, yeah, it was 5-1. I can never remember it's 5-1 or 5-2 because it was the Inge land in the papers. I remember that, but I was down the pub for that game actually. That 5-1 that 5-1 game down the pub in one of the pubs in Carnaby Street. The O'Neills actually in Carnaby, just off Carnaby Street. That was really good fun that day. A lot of drinking, a lot of swearing, as it always is when it comes to England. Even when the game, I think it was either qualifier or a friendly, if I remember right, one of the two. A long time ago now, but it was very entertaining day, very entertaining day. But yes, beautiful to see that 1 minute applause for Christian Eriksen on the 10th minute of the Denmark game. Really, absolutely love that. And just shows again that football can unite people. That's the whole point of the sport. It brings people from all walks of life. You're there. It's like going to a gig. You know, you're there from all walks of life. You're all there for the one reason, to support your football team, or to listen to the band that you paid your money for, and that's the thing. That's it. Tommy says, I thought 1 minute silence celebration was nice, but felt a bit over the top. If I'm honest, it was like they were clapping someone who died. See, that's what I see. That I know where you're coming from there, Tommy, because I don't agree with claps when somebody's died. A proper sign of respect is a minute's silence. That's a proper minutes. That's a proper. Obviously we had that a few times season before last, and before lockdown, and a lot of people weren't happy with the clapping instead of the minute silence. But yes, applause that he survived it. Minutes silence if he didn't. That's my thinking on it. Rick says it was a good thing that happened. Well done to both teams and officials for clapping at the 10th minute of the game. Yeah, but as I said, it's more. It should have been. Clapping should only be for when people are on the road to recovery. Or like the Guard of Honor and all that sort of stuff. That's when in my personal opinion, that's when you clap. That's when you clap. Everything else, if somebody's passed away, it's a minute silence. It's as simple as that. Francis, welcome. I said I'd rather people clap when I die. Don't want people sobbing. Life is a celebration. It is, and as is death. Life is a natural part of death. It's the next phase. It's the next stage. So, but you're absolutely right. It's each to their own. But in general, a proper mark of respect is a minute silence, or the 2 minute silences that we do on for I'm about to say Red Nose Day for some stupid reason, for Remembrance Sunday. You remember what you're actually. When we remember that. You take the minute out to remember all the people that have died, so we could live in this free world that we live in. Francis says we actually invented the minute's applause in the cup semi-final for John Lyall. Just another first West Ham achieved. Fair enough. It's too young to remember that, unfortunately, mate. So I'll take your word for it. And the penultimate part of this, all time says the clapping started when George Best passed because he said he didn't want people to mourn his death but celebrate his life. The clapping and chanting from United and West Ham fans at Upton Park was brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. But as I say, in general, people things aside, in general, it's a mark of respect, which is a word that not many people know about nowadays, if I'm honest, and we all know as well for that matter. Mark of respect is to remember them, but the way the world is going is to clap that celebrate their life as well. Absolutely, but anyway, it's at the end of the day you couldn't not do something. They couldn't not do something to send the best wishes. Not everybody's on Facebook, not everyone's on Twitter. So, but yeah, I know what you mean, guys. I absolutely agree with you. I see the sentiment from both sides. Not saying anybody's wrong in any shape or form. And the last thing I want to talk about Oh no, not that, not that, not that. We're not going to talk about that. That was pretty pointless. Bugger. I thought I put it up. Shite. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I just let me just recheck this. Francis says I think it's also a little bit of it is drawn to drown out the idiots who heckle. Well, yes, yeah, that's a fair point, mate. That's a fair point. That's a very, very good point. Very, very good point. Just waiting for that to come through. But yeah, Francis, you make a spot on point there, guys. Absolutely. It is definitely some to get rid of those idiots, because people, again, that's why I'm saying people don't know what respect is nowadays. They really don't. Really don't. But the last thing I wanted to talk about before we open the floor to you guys, I told you last night there wasn't a huge amount, is the changes to the fixtures for the first couple of weeks of the season. So both of these games are going to be live on Sky Sports because they got their grubby little hands on them. Newcastle away was meant to be Saturday the 14th of August. It's now going to be the Sunday the 15th of August, 4 p.m. kickoff, live on Sky Sports. And also the first home game of the season, Leicester at home, was meant to be on the 21st of August. It's now going to be a Monday night, the 23rd, on an 8 o'clock kickoff. Both games will be live on Sky Sports. So as always, guys, we will be live to do the watch along for these games. Well, especially Newcastle away, definitely. In two minds about the first home game on a Monday night, if I'm honest with you. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go. I'm not sure if I'm not gonna go. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely right, Francis. And this is why I always say about getting their grubby little hands on things. Because it's, and let's not forget, Francis says gutted that Newcastle game has changed. Hard to get back from there with Sunday rail service. And let's not forget, it's going to be the same thing for the Leicester fans if they're able to go to our home game as well. This is why Monday night football or Friday night football should really only be for teams that are local to the area. And I'm talking about within a 10-15 mile radius. Yeah, so because let's not forget, people work. People work, and Simon says, "Yep, fan shafted again. We're at the bottom of the football pecking order now. We have been for years, mate. They want our money. They want our money for the season tickets and the clothes and the shirts and everything else, the programs and the food and the drink and all that sort of stuff. Yet they're not willing to take us into consideration when actual games come around itself. So." Yeah, it's a little bit tricky with that one. You do realise, Dick Brain, that that you've named your account after me. You're a bit of a dick, aren't you? And you're just showing up, showing yourself. Rick, where the bloody hell are you? Alright, there you go. Sorry, guys, but I had to get rid of that. Well, mate, I've just done it. I've banned them. So, Francis, what your question was, what you're doing for Tuesday night, JP? Well, we will be doing the live watch along as usual. But yeah, it's really quite sad that people have to do that. This is, I've just come back in and seen that on the screen. You won't see it anymore, mate, because I've deleted it's I've deleted and banned that person for doing it. What an idiot! What an idiot! Anyway, it's always one idiot. Let's move on. So what you were saying earlier there, Tommy, absolutely right. We are shafted once again. We're at the bottom of the football pecking order now. But yeah, you know, it is, and it's open to fucking idiots. And we're treated like mugs. We're absolutely treated like mugs. Absolutely, TSC, completely agree with you. Tommy, it's difficult not to when it's up on the screen. It's up on the screen because I guarantee it's the same twat that was doing it last night as well. So this is Rick. This is why I say you have to be 100% diligent because I can't do it on my own. This is why I've asked you to be moderator. As you look in the chat, it was all me getting rid of him. You know, it's hard. It's, you know, these guys are anyway. So yeah, so as I say, guys, we will be doing the Newcastle away. Will be I know, Tommy, I know. But I'm enjoying the fact that they're advertising themselves as being such a complete pricks at the same point. Yeah, sad little life. Go and get your gripe water and go to bed. But yeah, we will be doing the Newcastle away watch along. I'm hoping to have a guest to come in to do the watch along with us. Gary Dongle, welcome. But as I've said, it's difficult for me to do that because I'm hosting. This is why we need admins. And do you know what, Tommy? If you don't mind, can I add you as a moderator? Because we need at least two, and you come in more on a regular basis. So if you don't mind me adding you as a moderator, I trust you. I know you well enough. I know you well enough to do that. So give us your permission, of course, because this is a thank you. You're now a moderator, mate. So the next comment you put up will have a spanner next to it. no implication on that. But yeah, so yeah, it was just to show that. So a little spanner will come up next to your name with your next comment. Testing 1 2. See, look, Irish Tommy the spanner. But yeah. But that's everything that I wanted to talk about, guys. So as usual, for the remaining times, and here we go again. The floor is yours to have a conversation, whatever you want. You certainly do, mate. You certainly do have an emoji that finally suits you. So the floor is yours. Ask me anything. We'll talk about any subject you want for the next 15 minutes. Because there's nothing else really to talk about. So why isn't the chat coming up all of a sudden? Why isn't that working? Should be working. TSC's asking, is the deal for Corral off? There's nothing to see that I've seen to see if it's actually on. Good evening, Jake. Hope you're alright, mate. You've just seen someone that's slightly younger than you being a dick in the chat. But yeah, I didn't even know it was on. Tommy says, thoughts and reports of Anderson returning to Lazio. I read this earlier today. For an alleged €8 million. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Lazio won't. It is typical, Jake. You're absolutely right there, mate. It is. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous that we get to see that that Lazio only want no more than that, from what I'm understanding. Again, if it's true, fair enough. there's also, obviously there's a lot of rumours coming out that many big clubs are looking at Issa Diop once again. And funny that Tarkowski deal is cooling down again. It's exactly the same set. It's almost by the minute that it was in January. It really, really was. Jake says, send him back out there, Tommy. In his opinion, 10 to 15 million he's gone in Jake's eyes. Gary says the same thing. I've literally just said. Don't think Crowell is off. Don't think it was ever on. Honestly, yeah. This is why you don't see me talking about rumours, right? Which is why I don't do videos on it, because they're literally just that. This and the Tarkowski one is exactly the same. Is exactly a really good reason as to why I don't do him, because honestly the cycle is practically almost to the hour that it was in January. Tarkowski doesn't want to go to West Ham, then he does, and then we're cooling it off. Yeah, we were cooling it off in January. We were cooling it off now. It's the same story, being recycled. Absolutely being recycled. And and this is the thing, guys. This is why I don't pay attention to rumours, because you can spot a prick a mile off. You can spot somebody that's just trying to get their name on the website and get links clicked in. People clicking on the links to get their articles published. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Tommy, don't time them out. Just block them. Just hide them completely. Don't time them out, because they'll only be back. But yeah, so as I say, the Tarkowski one bores me to tears. Anderson, I couldn't give a monkey's about, quite frankly. I really don't care about what's gonna happen with him. I really don't care. I genuinely don't care. If we keep him on, and keep him on for the Europa League. Same thing with Yarmolenko. It's all right, Tommy. Don't worry. We wasn't having a go, son. Don't worry. See, that's a little bit harsh, mate, to be fair. That's a little bit harsh. All you're doing is making yourself look a dick. All you're doing. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. You're not going to stop me. You're not stopping me. Do this all you like. All you're doing is making yourself look a prick. That's all you're doing. Don't want it bothered. All you're doing. Come and say it to my face. I'll be at West Ham for all the home games. Come and say it to my face. Yeah? So come on, guys. We've got 10 minutes left. Let's pick some subjects to talk about. Francis, I'm completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. It's not putting me off my stride whatsoever. Francis is asking, where would you like to go in Europe, and any no-go places? There is absolutely everywhere I'd like to go in Europe. I've been to France. I've been to Cyprus. I've been to Spain. I love Europe. Beautiful continent. There's nowhere on Earth that literally nowhere on the planet I don't want to go. You know, there's I've been to New York. I've been to Dublin. I've been there's loads of places. There's been loads of places I love going. I want to go to. Loads of places I want to go back to as well, for that matter. I love Paris. I love Barcelona. I love New York. I love Paphos. Everywhere I've been to, I've not hated it. Not one, because it's somewhere different. I've been to Scotland. I've been to Wales. I haven't been to Northern Ireland, but I've been to the Republic, as I said. There's nowhere I wouldn't go, mate. There really isn't anywhere I wouldn't go. Francis says, I don't fancy Turkey or Russia. Would love Spain and Frankfurt. Spain's lovely, really is. Tom is asking, do you think the squad will still be thin next season? Very possibly. Very, very possibly. There is a very, very good chance that we will still be screwed next season. Very, very good chance we'll still be screwed. Francis says, don't fancy Marseille. Horrible place, but would like Lyon. There is a Cyprus team we could get. Rich says, Irish Tommy. Yes, Irish Tommy. I think the squad will be thin next season. Yeah, we're not going to have this magic waste, this magic checkbook, mate. It's just not happening. It's not happening for a long, long time, and technically never will. Never will. But West Ham, that isn't West Ham though. That's not West Ham. West Ham isn't the big, the bold, and the beautiful. As much as we hate to admit it, it isn't. It isn't that. West Ham have always been the underdogs. We always will be, and that's half the reason why we love the team so much. Thursday, hello, mate. Late to the party as always. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're keeping all right. I noticed you cheekily subscribed the other day, so that means you haven't subscribed recently over the last 2.5, 3 years, you cheeky little monkey. But I hope you're keeping alright, fella. Francis said, or will they do what they did before and flood us with Gotham Toure, Zaza, Faguli types? There's nothing wrong with Faguli. I actually quite liked him. I thought he was harshly treated, unfortunately. The rest, yes, absolutely. But it's different management. It's run completely differently now. Completely run differently now. Thomas says, a European game against a big team under the lights at the London Stadium will be amazing. Unsub by accident. Totally understandable to taking a break away from YouTube, mate. I've had nothing but dickheads in the last 2.5 weeks doing various messages. But I'm not, as I said beforehand, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. If you're not man enough to say it to my face, you'll not make me go anywhere. Anderson's if Anderson goes, how much do you think we'll get from him? We'll get for him next to nothing. In the football terms, next to nothing. I'll be very surprised if it hits 8 digits. I'll be very, very surprised. Francis says, you honestly believe it's run differently? It is. Slowly but surely, there are subtle differences. Yes, all right, you can say that Moyes is still a bit of a puppet for Sullivan, and he has to be as a manager to keep him sweet. But at the same time, we're making more sensible signings. We're not going after the £30 million that no fucker's ever heard of, apart from those that play FIFA. And Moyes' signings have worked out. He knows what to do in a football club. International managers seem to think price tag is best. It's not always. Not always. Doing the research. There's the difference. Moyes' targets are more like West Ham than previous managers' targets since Pardew. Personally, we haven't had a decent, proper West Ham style signing since the Pardew days. With Kirbishley, Zola, Allardyce, maybe a little bit here and there. But yeah. So yeah. But yeah, so as I say, that's literally the case of the fact that we haven't had a decent signing for a long time before Moyes came in. I mean, a player that hit the ground running properly in a way that reflects the ambition of the manager, the strategy of the manager, etc. etc. You know, and that's been the problem. We've gone for managers that don't suit the football club. You know, that's the thing. We don't have that anymore. So we've got 3 minutes left, guys. Anything else before we wrap this up? Two minutes. No. Yusuf, hello, but what are you talking about? Orange Tommy says away shirt being released first. Apparently, interesting. No, we've got three in here at the minute, mate. We've got three. Rick's asking a very good question. Where do you lot think West Ham will finish this coming season? He's saying 12th. I'm saying 10th. Arthur says all this striker talk is just constant shades of previous summers. It is. Literally. We were just saying about that, about Tarkowski, and how the fact that we seem to be cooling off within 3 or 4 weeks of being interested in him yet once again as it was in January. Youssef, we will have, I don't know how many more times I need to repeat this, but we will be doing England watch-alongs, or have that. We've done all 3 so far. We will do it again on Tuesday, which you'd know if you'd stuck around last night. After saying, get a Streamlabs bot going, mate. They're useful. Can ban certain words so the messages don't even appear. Good point, actually. Good point. Right, so I'm glad you reminded of that because yeah. France versus Portugal. Give us the score lines, JP. Okay, so Germany. Germany, Hungary tonight, and Portugal, France. Germany, I think, are going to win that 2-1. Portugal, France, I think that's going to be a draw. I'm thinking 2-1 myself. And exactly, Athos, which is why I'm using Streamlabs, even though there's a lot of issues that I have with it. Like, for example, it fucks up the audio for some random reason every now and again, and we have issues with NDI. Other than that, yeah, Streamlabs, 100%. I've been using it for almost a year now. Absolutely love it, bar a few things. Well, hence, which is why you know, because looking at the layout. But yeah, Germany 3, Hungary 3-1 to Germany, and Portugal, France. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I really do. I'm not doing a GO and going all sitting on the fence. I generally think it's going to be a 2-2 because there's certainly going to be goals. There's going to be goals in all of them, of course, but in both games. But we are. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's the game's up. That's it. The hour's up. The game's about to start. So look after yourselves. And apologies on behalf of those little fuckwits. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Really hope. So yeah, look after yourselves, guys. Take care. If anything else pops up between now and Tuesday, we will talk about it. Might do a live broadcast tonight around about 10 o'clock. So we discuss who we've got on Tuesday night. But so keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.